Another day, another bit of exploration on a planet I want to be done with already. In a poorly done conflict that we absolutely have to win for a force I don't care about against another force I don't care about. It's amazing how far I've gotten in this game, considering how uninterested I am in the main story elements. Especially considering some of the games I've dropped over the years partway through an LP. Okay, so we need good timing in order to get up that central ball. Here's hoping there's not going to be another low-quality upgrade at the end of that. It's actually pretty funny when I stop to think about it, that when I've actually got the controller in my hands and I'm playing, I actually enjoy getting a good number of minor upgrades as I go along. It really is a reasonable enough reward regardless of the sheer amount of trouble I have getting there when actually experiencing it. It's just that when I'm working on commentary, I have a lot less patience and just want to keep pushing through the major events to the ending. That is a very rough mindset to have, especially for a lot of the longer games I have in mind. At the very least, I'm not looking forward to when I finally get around to doing the Pokemon 2nd Generation LP. The sheer amount of grinding at the end of that game is downright obscene. Well, at least we're off the globes. All that for an energy tank. Ugh. Again, I do not have a problem with that sort of thing when I'm actually playing the game. But when I'm trying to come up with commentary after the fact, I just want to end it as quickly as possible. And since we're at a stage of the game where there aren't that many major items left outside of just keys to open the way to later boss fights, it is excruciating at this point for me. But I just refuse, absolutely refuse, to give up on Samus when we've gotten so far with her on so many other adventures. Well, at least we'll reach an unexplored part of the map soon. That's going to be a nice point to slow things down again. Though I certainly hope we're not going to need Dark Beam ammo when we get there. Right, 2 floating hits to deal with at the same time, and as much as I like the spider robots, they just feel more interesting when it's us against just one of them at a time. It just does not feel right to me to go after them as a recurring enemy you fight more than one at a time, since they're so reasonably complicated to deal with. Well, at least I could get that door open after turning on the sonic visor, so it's not a completely useless upgrade, but again, I just can't help feeling that in both the original Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 3, Samus has better equipment for such a degree that it makes Metroid Prime 2 feel all the more baffling to me. She is measurably and undeniably less capable in this game than the other currently released Metroid Primes, and it mostly has to do with the damn light and dark beams on this planet. I very much doubt that when Metroid Prime 4 comes out, that she's gonna have such ammo limits on her beams. As a side note, upon replaying the other Metroid games while working on commentary for this one, I did indeed notice that the power bomb always had ammo limitations. It's just that my sheer frustration with the light and dark beams in this game messed with my memory a bit and made me feel that the only things that had ammo were the missiles and super missiles. Assuming, of course, you're going through a game where the super missile doesn't use regular missile ammo. Anyway, have I mentioned that the scary, eldritch-looking Ing feel oddly underwhelming and uninteresting the way this game has pulled them off? According to the lore, they should be something very terrifying to deal with, but in practice it feels too much like we've dealt with things that are better at what they do, within this same franchise. Hell, the X were introduced to the franchise at around the same point when the first Metroid Prime was released. They had time to come up with better ideas. Right, more Sonic things to shoot with our power beam to open a door. Wish that those motivators would find a way to motivate me, but that might be a little too difficult considering we're 35 clips into this game. I know, a bit of a stretch for that joke, but hey, I need something to try to keep my sanity when I feel like there's not all that much worthwhile this far into the game for the most part. Again, the only thing that's got me feeling especially interested in this game that's going to travel to the next game is Dark Samus. It's not like the game has done anything to further explain how Phazon works and let us learn more about the horrifying power-enhancing toxic substance. Oh, considering an asteroid slamming into this planet as it was full of Phazon is the very reason why reality splintered and an alternate version of Aether became connected to the regular one, sparking an existential war. Seriously, Phazon is the single biggest connecting factor for the Metroid Prime trilogy. But in Metroid Prime 2, it just exists for the sake of excusing the existence of the small pirate force and gives Dark Samus an excuse to get stronger between fights here. Anyway, this looks like we've got ourselves a bit of a puzzle boss in our future here. Now, technically speaking, I don't actually have anything against puzzle bosses. Certainly the big plant thing near the start of the first Metroid Prime was fun to deal with. But after the Spider Ball boss in this same game, I'm pretty damn wary of others. It's not like the one we killed for the power bomb made up for the sheer amount of frustration I've built up over the years against the Spider Ball Guardian. Well, this is certainly a very interesting path just to get to another missile expansion. Though maybe that's just something that goes an alternate route as I try to figure out how to get to that stationary boss that probably has a major upgrade for us. Yeah, bit of a mistake to charge the booster at that point. Considering how much boost leaping we've been doing lately, though, can you blame me for trying to preemptively prepare to use it in case of an emergency? I'm sorry, but why does the game want to treat even slightly grazing against the odd hammer things when we aren't actually getting struck by them as similarly damaging as being caught between a wall and the hammer, or just falling into acid? Granted, we've seen that style of environmental damage before in this franchise, but still, kind of annoying the execution of it here. And I'm annoying myself for charging up the boost ball again when we don't absolutely need to just yet. That's it, we're fast-forwarding again. I just do not have a lot of patience right now. And patience is a good amount of the game, and several other games, in fact. Hell, is a good amount of a lot of games in a lot of different genres. From survival horror to real-time strategy and various others. If you can't stay patient, then you're gonna start making mistakes, which makes things last longer than they strictly need to. And sure, fast-forwarding the footage can help against that to a degree, but it's not gonna eliminate the issue altogether. Well, I suppose it's fine enough that we managed to make it to the end of that particular maze. I still need to figure out how to actually enter the boss fight arena, though. Okay, Those are different from the ing we fought in here earlier. Doesn't look like there's anything we can really do from this side. Annoying, especially since I'm pretty sure I know what we need to do next. Okay, so we need the screw attack to make progress in this direction. I guess maybe this is the portal we need. Yeah, we're inside the spot I feel like we need to be in. Now let's see if we can find our way through this device and gain whatever important thing it's holding. Though I'm fairly certain we're gonna gain the screw attack sometime soon, if not now. Okay, apparently I'm being an idiot to start things off here. Definitely not a promising sign. Though finding things that we can destroy and then grabbing the occasional healing item is a better sign, I suppose. Hell, if we'd run into this thing before we ran into the spider ball boss, I'd probably be enjoying it quite a bit instead of going, oh god, another puzzle boss. I swear that one boss absolutely ruined a large chunk of the game for me just by existing. Well, at least I got back up before the floor became electrified again. I kinda wish this thing had a health bar so we know just how much longer we have to keep this up, though. I guess the small little energy balls have stopped popping up and now we have to ram into something else entirely. We don't really have that much time to react to that pillar showing up, though. And it feels like the electric things that knocked us down have gotten significantly faster. There we go. Wait, the boss fight isn't done yet? Son of a bitch, it would have been very easy to avoid that if I actually had a health bar to see for the thing that we're trying to destroy here. Seriously. Why is it this thing, which feels like it should be considered a boss, isn't being given a health bar like every other boss? Anyway, it looks like we've got to do the same thing when there's less track to work with up here. If this goes by faster than the easier section, I'm gonna laugh. Okay. That definitely felt shorter than the first time, even with the added disadvantage. I suppose we're gonna have to do that sequence a third time with even more of a disadvantage then. Yeah, annoying, but nowhere near the level of frustrating that we had to deal with just to get this far. Sure, we're losing more health than we're gaining, but it's still pretty damn clear that the difficulty curve in this game is all over the place. I distinctly remember the only boss in the game that made me feel as frustrated as the Boost Guardian or Spider Bar Guardian was the second to last one, and we're still a ways off from him. Notice how I said the second to last boss, not the final challenge of the game. Ugh. Anyway, we're done with the boss that for some odd reason had no health bar. And unfortunately, I'm not seeing the major item drop that I was damn sure we absolutely needed to get after dealing with that boss. Okay, we've never been in here, so I suppose that's part of the reward. I swear, the areas where we need the sonic visor are arbitrary as hell, even by Metroid standards. Not the first time we've traveled by launching from one cannon directly into another, but it's somehow more ridiculous here than the previous example that I barely remember this far into the game. Hell, for all I know, I'm thinking of an event that happened all the way back in the original Metroid Prime. I probably should have tried to gain more dark ammo since we're dealing with more Resbits here. Granted, the Resbit seem to be the only hostile in this room, but dear God, I don't want to have to deal with them. Especially with how worn down we are now. Well, at least that one died before it managed to do anything. That's a small bit of mercy considering the amount of crap we've had to deal with in this fortress. Right. Now that those are dead, let's see what's fresh on the lore here. And once again, it's lore that I feel we already know, just based off what we've seen across the game so far. No revelation, just things that I can't help feeling I wish we'd seen so the game had more of a sense of there being a war currently going on right now. Seriously. We already learned right from the start of our time in the fortress that the Ing had managed to hack the robots meant to defend this place. Mostly because a vast majority of the things we've had to destroy and that keep respawning around here were originally meant to fight against the Ing. And they are more interesting to fight against than the Ing themselves. It's just funny how the lore in the previous Metroid Prime did a good job of painting in the world around us and some of the characters we never actually got to meet. Again, back when this was all just us investigating what happened to those Federation Marines, it felt very promising. But from the point we get our first exposition dump from Umos onwards, the story and environment just don't feel like they mesh as well as they should for me. And it's my biggest, most long-running frustration with this game. An issue that you can't just solve by remaking it. It's a fundamental flaw in the writing, in my opinion. Anyway, it seems we're incredibly close to where we need to be. Nice to know that. But that doesn't change the fact that we don't know how to actually get there yet. This just seems like about as good a time as any to pull back and save. At the very least, I certainly don't want to have to go through the trouble of destroying that machine again. If that was not an actual boss to protect the next major upgrade, I'm certainly feeling nervous what the game is going to throw at us to prevent us from getting that damn screw attack. Just because I don't remember it off the top of my head doesn't mean it isn't going to be an absolute pain in the ass to deal with.